Hey, I'm glad I just thought about the fact of getting off of the meeting I was on and getting on this one because I was on the one that I had actually scheduled for the MAP program, but nobody was there. And I was like, all right, there's no way nobody showed up for my meeting. So I said they must have went to the regular link. So good, beautiful. Good to see everybody. I'm glad that you got it. I'm really excited to see you, Aubrey. That means you guys figured out the software. That's outstanding. Charlie, good to see you. Sarah, good to see you. Brooke, good to see you. Good. Who's down there? Who just got on? Is that Julian? I only see his top photo. I think it's Julian. Yeah. Hey, Julian. Good. I miss anybody? I got Charlie, Harley, Diego, Winston, Sarah, Brooke, Aubrey, and Julian. Yes? I'm going to unmute you all because, Sensei Kyle's here somewhere too. Oh, there he is. Yeah. Hey, Sensei Kyle. Harley, can I unmute everybody at one time on this thing or no? You got to do it one at a time.
Yeah, there's a thing somewhere that says participants.
Oh, unmute all. Unmute all. Cool.
There we go.
So everybody say hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey.
Is anybody excited just to see everybody again?
Yeah.
Awesome. In the same way that we started originally just making, just recording videos for everybody, instructional videos, and then I realized that there was no way we could communicate the community and everything special that happens in the interaction between us. So we decided to get this technology for classes. In the same way, I realized that sending you recordings of the map wasn't good enough. We needed to be able to come together live again. So first of all, you're here and some are not, and so you get 2 claps. Give yourself 2 claps. Oh, yeah, Sensei Aiden's with us now too. Welcome, Sensei Aiden. So good. So now I hope nobody actually went to the other link. Is this the one that Mr. sent everybody?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, good. Well, I sure am glad that I got on the right link then. Outstanding. So guys, what I wanted to do is, like I said, this is not going to be as formal as normal. Oh wow, it was a Shakespearean couplet. This is not going to be as formal as most of the classes normally are. And but because what I want is really just give everybody a chance to be in community together again. So what I'd like to do is start with some victory. In this time that we've been away from each other, I would like everybody to still share some victories just for the rest of the community to know. And I don't care what order, as long as everybody speaks all the time, because I think it's critically important for us. So who wants to go first? I'll lead. For me, the biggest victory of all is that in the same way that I believe that times of crisis show you if you're a leader or not, and I am proud of our leadership, times of crises also show you the kind of team that you have. And I am so honored and privileged and blessed to have such an amazing team. Our sensei, all of our sensei, unfortunately, some of them aren't with us every day now, and Sensei Aiden's one of them, so I'm very happy to see this. But all of our sensei, the ones that are still working with us full time, like Sensei Sarah and Sensei Kyle and Shihan Harley, and somewhat Sensei Data, have just been so amazing through this thing. And Sensei Winston today too, have just been so amazing, and I mean in every way, in their loyalty to me, and their loyalty to their students, and their performance, and their leadership. It's really, really shown that we are blessed indeed at this time. So that's my victory. Who's next?
Let me take a crack at it.
All right.
So I think ever since the quarantine started, since I'm at home all the time, I'm actually starting to read more, and I'm reading this really good book called Order of Time. Super cool. So I just feel more knowledgeable.
That's great, Sensei, and that really is awesome. And I'll tell you why. That's awesome on a surface level, but let me tell you why I think it's so awesome. because you already know I think leaders are readers and everything. So in all those ways, it's awesome. But also in this way, so many people are using this as an excuse instead of a reason. So when you say, no, I've got time now, I'm going to start reading. That shows the heart of a champion. Give Sensei Aiden 2 claps. Who's next?
I'll go next. So, can you guys hear me good, by the way?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
All right. So, I mean, obviously one of the things, since we are still back in the dojo a little bit, the head instructors, I mean, virtual testing went great. I mean, you know, I'm not gonna lie. At first, I was like, oh, I don't know how this is gonna play out. I mean, obviously, we're gonna give it our best and deal with what we got. And but it turned out awesome. Everybody enjoyed it. Everybody loved it. It was nice seeing everybody back in action, and I just think it went awesome.
I agree 100%. First of all, so give Sensei Cal 2 claps. And you know me, I'm not going to ever be able to resist painting the leadership lesson in what somebody says, right? And something awesome that Sensei Kyle said is he said, I wasn't sure it could really work, but we were going to give it our best anyway. That, you know how I quote sometimes that in order to be a great leader, you have to be a great follower first? That's the example of it right there. He was like, I don't know about this cockamamie idea that Grandmaster had, but I'm going to do my best to make it work. And that is so awesome because how many people know that not everybody knows that way? A lot of people, when they think that a plan isn't great, they ensure that it's not great. But Sensei Cal said, no, I gave it my best and it's great. And the whole team did. And that is super, super awesome. 2 claps. Who else? Who's next?
Guess I'll go ahead and go. So along with the virtual testing, all the actual like virtual dojo that we've been building with the videos and stuff on the Teachable course. If you don't already know about that, basically we're putting all the videos online and structuring them with quizzes and stuff like that. So that's another cool project that we've been working on during the quarantine, which also helps me learn some new skills, computer stuff and all that. So it's been pretty cool.
Absolutely. And let me tell you, Sheehan Harley is developing some mad skills. And I would say that this year we've improved our technical and social, media type stuff 100%. I mean, it's just crazy. And yeah, I agree. And great work, Sheehan Harley. 2 claps.
I think Charlie should be next.
Charlie.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
All right.
I can hear you.
We have a big piece of property, and during all of this, it's really overgrown. So during all of this, we've gotten a lot of work done out there, a lot more than we could have done in a month.
That's awesome.
That's good. That's good.
That's awesome. Give him 2 claps. And that, by the way, is another illustration of great teamwork. You came together to do it once again. And the same thing like I told Sensei Aiden with the books. Just because you have the time didn't mean all of a sudden you were going to do the work, So that's outstanding. Rook, you're next.
Hi. Along with what Aiden said, I've been reading a lot more. I finished 3 books so far because I get bored and start reading. And a lot, like this week, I've been working on new skills with clothing and art. Like I actually just finished making the shirt I'm wearing.
Wow.
It's for a character cosplay that I'm doing. So I've been having a lot of art growth because just boredom in general.
That's awesome, bro. You're such an awesome. I'm going to tell you, you're one of the people that I thought about when I thought about how terrible it was that we were closed. So we're super proud of you and the way you're coming along. Give Brooke 2 claps. Please meet to Miss Aubrey.
I've been like hanging out with family more and like spending more time with family since the quarantine happened, and I'm really glad it happened because I like get to spend more time with my dad and my dad.
That's outstanding. No, it's such a great point. It's sometimes we have to slow down to go faster, like we say in the martial arts, and I do think that probably lots of families have gotten to do something that we've needed to do. On my last call, I was on a call called Warriors Lead in Times of Crisis with a lot of really great leaders. I'll put the recording up so you guys can hear it. But, you know, one of the things that Bill Cronin said, who is the head of the Pasco Economic Development Council, and he's a KMMA student, he said, you know, so much of what we need to be doing now are things that we should have always been doing anyway. And, you know, that's exactly what you just said, spending more time with our family and the ones we love and stuff. Give Aubrey 2 claps. Julian, you get to wrap it up.
Sure, Victor, of mine. I've definitely the same sort of thing as Aubrey. I've been able to spend more time with family and just really hone in on school. I haven't really had much of a struggle, but I've been able to get ahead in my classes, so I don't have to worry about being behind.
Oh, that's awesome. You would never ever think you would have any struggle with your classes. You are a smart kid, Julian. That's awesome. All right, 2 claps. Fantastic. So I want to talk next. Hang on one second. I'm going to change this a little bit. That I can.
Gabby.
Oh, somebody else just get on?
Yeah, Gabby did.
Oh, where's she at? Oh, there she is. I'm put her video on. Huh. Not giving me the thing where I can say, ask to turn video on. Oh, well, I'm missing all my controls right now, so I don't know where my mute all is. I don't have my shoe on Harley who normally controls everything for me.
Make me the host. I can do it.
That's a great idea. All right, Shihad. Woohoo! Give Shihad 2 claps. Yeah, Harley, you are.
And she's gone.
Wait, is Gabby still with us?
Oh, I think she left anyways.
Okay. Well, but that's okay. You are the host. You are the host now, so you can do other things. Like right now, I'd like you to mute everybody because I'm going to talk for a couple minutes and then want to mute everybody again.
All right.
All right. So the thing I want to talk about next is hopefully going to almost sound redundant to you, because hopefully you will have heard me talk about it so many times where you're like, I can't believe he's going to talk about this again. But I just honestly feel like from the beginning of this crisis, like from the day that I recognized that we were going to have to close our physical facility, even though I'm very, very grateful that we never actually closed because we're still operating. Our team is still working. Our students are still training. Our community still lives. We're not closed. But at the day that the president said no more than 10 people in a room, and I said, okay, obviously we're going to have to close this physical building. Oh, there's Gabby with video too. Give her 2 claps. So since that day, I have felt like that this particular leadership lesson that I'm about to share with you is like the mantra for what's going on right now. I mean, how many people, by show of hands, remember the first time they received the leadership lesson in one of my KMMA classes, that life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you react to what happens to you? Yeah, I mean, certainly everybody has heard the lesson. I hope that another positive thing that comes from this thing is that it magnifies the truth of that lesson. Because just like spending time with our family, just like, washing our hands, just like treating people kindly, just like all of the things that, just like leadership, all of the things that we always should do anyway, that are magnified by the situation now, this is another one of those. You see, in our lives on a day-to-day basis, we are the sum total. Our experience is the sum total of the decisions that we've made to that point. And the most powerful piece of the message that life is 10% what happens to us and 90% how we react to what happens to us is that we are in total control. Nobody else is. And like, we're not in control of everything. There are some things we're not in. If you're a child, your parents control certain aspects of your reality. If you're an American citizen, your government controls certain aspects of your society. And in this specific situation, the pandemic controls certain aspects of our reality. But none of that is in our control. The only thing, as is always true, that is in our control is how we react to what happens to us. And like I said, what I'm hoping is that you, who are my best leadership students, sincerely, like it's no exception. Exception is not the word I was looking for. It's no accident that the people that are on this meeting right now are the people that are on this meeting right now. I knew who would be here. That's why I was shocked when I went to the wrong meeting link and nobody was there. So, but I hope that all of you feel like I do, that this problem has magnified certain things, and one of them is that life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you react to what happens to you. And now what we're going to do is I'm going to have Sean Harley unmute the mic, because I would like, or actually, you know what? Let's do it instead of everybody, because it was a little noisy before. Instead of everybody, you can raise your hand if you want to talk, and he'll unmute and spotlight you. And I'd like to hear you talk to it. If you're a sensei, you can talk to it as a sensei, as an individual, meaning how you have actually. Was I muted for a second? Did everybody hear what I've been saying? Like, so raise your hand if you want to talk to how you have been reacting, how you've been exercising your 90%. By the way, did everybody, by show of hands, did everybody get to see the fact that we were on Bay News 9 and see the story? Okay, good. Then you know that reporter actually used the quote, and she actually said her closing statement. I wonder how many people remembered it, like understood the reference. But remember, her closing statement was, I said some things about how the finding the virtual community and all that was keeping us closer than ever before. And she said, and that is how they're doing the 90%, right? So my point is, I would like to hear each one of you now say how you're exercising your 90% in this situation, and or just speak to this idea. Sensei Sarah.
Well, so I know that as a head instructor, especially, one of the things that I've been doing a lot is outreach to students, because while most people do see, how we're helping the community and what we're getting out there, not everybody does, and they all have questions. They all want to know what's going on. So kind of keeping a sense of normalcy by being there for them, reaching out, making sure they understand what's going on. That's like one way that I know that I've been reacting, one responsibility that I've been taking on since this started.
Fantastic. First of all, fantastic, great answer, and you have been doing a great job at it. And second of all, remember what I said, more of what we should be doing anyway, right? Like crises helps us. It helps us remember what we should be doing. What are some other 90%? Who else has got some other ones? What other leader wants to speak up? And don't be shy if you're not one of the sensei. Remember, you're here to become a future sensei, and you have to be bold. You have to be willing to say, there are no wrong answers in these kinds of classes. This isn't math. Okay? Is that Sensei Aiden raising his hand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead, Sensei Aiden.
So like I said before, I've been reading more, but I've also been writing more, and I have a little journal with it's called 300 writing prompts, and just short little paragraphs, and I just write a few every day. And then also like physically, because that's my mental side, but I also like keeping track of both sides of it. So physically, I've been on my training regimen like usual, and like a few people might have seen my post I put on Instagram. I'm still hitting the heavy bag and stuff.
Yeah, you
I
look,
just, huh?
you look great.
Thank you, sir. So I'm just trying to keep everything. Use this as almost like a refresher, almost.
That's great. Great. Give them 2 claps. I love that, and I love it because another quote that had come to my mind that I can't remember if I've actually spoke to or only spoke to myself about is that everybody is making this situation that we're in. Everybody gets a choice to make it an excuse or a reason, right? And so, and I think about it every time I see this the Facebook post where people are saying they got. I keep almost using the S word, calling it stupid. I shouldn't do that, but the quotes that the memes and quotes and stuff that this was me before and now, and then they show themselves all fat after the quarantine. And the reality of the situation, of course, like the opposite is true for me. I'm training more. I'm eating better. I'm like, hey, this is the perfect time to get my 75 hard done that I'm working on. Sensei Aiden's using it to. He's always been good at it, but he's using the time to do it. And the point is, you get to choose. Is this time going to be because listen, the time is definitely going to be a part of your story. None of you speak as much as me right now because I'm the old man in the room. But when you're older, you're going to have a story. And when you have that story, you're going to tell this chapter. And some people, none of the people on this call, because quite frankly, you all already behave like leaders. I wish I was as sharp as you at your age. And that's true of each and every one of you. But when you tell this chapter, some people, the ones not on this call, are going to tell it as a tell of woe and all the bad things that happened. And then people like you that understand the 1090 concept and understand circle of concern and circle of control and understand black belt excellence and that it's our choice what happens now, you're going to tell a different story. You're going to tell a story of the amazing emergence and the amazing progress that you made during this time. And that's what you're doing. And I share this as hopefully sharing some wisdom with you, but also to say how proud of all of you that I am for that. And Gabby, what would you like to say about that?
I don't know.
What are you doing? What are you doing to take advantage of your 90%? There's 10% you can't control. What are you doing, which is your 90% of how you react to what's going on?
I have focused a lot more on my schoolwork. I always had distractions in the afternoons while I was supposed to be working. And now I've focused a lot more. And I did an entire project today, which I haven't done in a long time. And I've been able to sit down with my siblings more and help them too.
That's outstanding. Give her 2 claps. Love it. Good answer, Gabby. Julian, you got anything you want to share?
I've been using this 90% mostly to do the things that everyone else in this call have done, like focusing on the physical side, the educational side of this, and of course to not tell a negative story, as this will become our story as we do grow away from this. It's just, there's nothing really.
Awesome. 2 claps. And, actually, you know what? Sensei Winston, Sensei Diego, let me hear you guys.
Want to talk first? I guess I've been using this time to start catching up and making my grades better. That's pretty much it.
That's
And working.
great. 2 claps. Sensei Diego.
Kind of the same thing as Winston. I've been keeping up with my schoolwork and all that. It's hard, but like still doing it and getting outside as much as I can, trying to work out with Harley, just like running and calisthenics and all that. And then kind of like all the little things that I usually put aside that I don't have time for is what I'm picking up now, just like skateboarding. I kind of like to go out and just practice stuff like that. I guess, yeah.
Awesome. 2 claps. And for any of you that didn't hear, Sensei Daniel's been accepted to the ROTC program at the University of North Georgia. So he's going to be a future Army officer. So that's exciting. It's sad that we won't have him with us for a while, but exciting. And maybe we'll have another affiliate school at UNG. So I'm going to move on to my final discussion point of the day, and hopefully everybody will have something to say about that too. Because our mission and tagline is empowering lives through the martial arts, and that by itself, honestly, a lot of martial arts schools use the same kind of as a tagline. The mission that I wrote in October of 2000, though, that all of you have read, obviously has lots of sub bullets that explain exactly how we do that. But the point of the story now is this: as everything else in our lives, that has been challenged during this moment in time. So my question and my challenge are, what are some ways, and I don't just mean what we're doing as an organization, because obviously as an organization, the fact that we have the Virtual Dojo Facebook community, I'm purposely rattling these things off, hoping that you're on them all. The fact that we have the Virtual Dojo Facebook community, the fact that we have the Virtual Dojo platform that Harley was speaking of, and the fact that we have this particular technology where we're going to be going live with virtual classes starting Monday. And I did send an email with the virtual schedule and everything today, so hopefully you got all that. The organization is doing all those types of things. I'd like you to dig deep now as Sensei and as MAP, martial arts professionals, future Sensei, and each person come up with a little something on how can we all still do our part towards our mission of helping empower lives through martial arts, even in this kind of modified scenario. Brooke.
Since we can't interact with people face to face to like give out the codes or tell them personally about our mission statement, anyone with the social media can go on, make small video clips of training regiments or some of the activities we do, or just talking to the camera about stuff that we do, upload it, and then get the comments in, try to persuade people online.
That's amazing. Wow, you're like a future marketer. That's good stuff. Give it 2 claps. By the way, anybody that would want to share in that kind of way, you don't even have to be, that's robust, what Brooke said, that's amazing. But of course, now it's so simple because, for example, we have KMMAvirtualdojo.com. You can just share that with your friends. And by the way, you can do that even if you're not on social media. If you have a smartphone even, and you say to your friend, hey, Dada, my martial arts school just built an online dojo and they're giving it away for free. And all you have to do is go to KMMAvirtualdojo.com. How easy would that be? But I only want you to do that if you truly believe in our mission and how we empower people's lives through martial arts. It's just say, of course, kind of tongue-in-cheek, because obviously you all do, because you've lived it yourself. You've grown up here, every single one of you, and that's what makes our organization special. What else? What are some other ways that you can help empower lives through the martial arts? If you're already a sensei, you can come up with some of the ways on top of just the things we're doing as a group that you can do to personally sow into your students right now. Sensei Kyle.
Well, this really isn't from a sensei standpoint. This is just from it's more of an overall standpoint. And it's really just checking up on people. I mean, we obviously we do that as an organization because that's what makes us good, right? We have the community that we're going on, but more or less like one-on-one, like people, because everybody at KMA has like friends. Like there's at least one person that you talk to, that every once in a while, and I think it would be good if just like if everybody just talked to one person that had a friend that went to the dojo, and just make sure that they're doing okay, that these times aren't, they're doing what we're doing, which is making the best of what we got, and make sure they're staying on top of things just as we are staying on top of things. And if everybody does a little bit of that, then it's going to affect, it's going to spread like something else is spreading right now.
That is truly, truly outstanding. Great answer. 2 claps. And of course, yes, I love what Sensei Kyle said about making sure that we do that with our own KMMA community, and I would say even outside of the community, right? Like all of your friends and such. That is a very important thing to remember to do now. But if you do speak to the ones in the KMMA community, make sure that they know about the community. Like one of my greatest fears, I keep kind of telling the sensei this every time I see him. And today, they did some great work towards trying to resolve this. One of my great fears is that there's some KMMA students that don't even know that we're doing all these great things for them, right? Because if they're just sitting home alone and they don't know that they have a virtual community they could still be a part of, then unfortunately we're not serving them. So I think it's a great point that Sensei Kyle just said. If you got some friends that just make sure they know. Make sure they know that live virtual classes start Monday night and all of that, right? Because I know not everybody reads my emails. I hate to say it, but it's not everybody reads my emails. so yeah, if we could, in the military we used to have a call out roster. I think we need one, right? A roster where everybody just calls everybody. And does anybody have, that was so good that we could almost wrap it up on that, but does anybody have anything they would like to share about ways that we can be proactive about empowering lives right now? Sensei Aiden.
I think just it's something very small, just an overall thing like what Kyle said, but just every once in a while, just talk to your friends, send them a message, send them a DM, video chat with them, call with them, because you might be feeling lonely at this time, but they are too. And I feel like especially during this time, we focus on ourselves so much. We get really, full of ourselves and then full of our our immediate family, but that we don't really care about anybody else. So talking with your friends is very, a very useful thing. And then they know that since you reached out to them, that they could reach out to you, because it's a, two-way street when it comes to communication.
Yeah, that's great, Sensei Aiden. And I'm not afraid to share that one of the reasons that is so great is because, yeah, I mean, at you all's age, talking to the teenagers right now, it's very natural to be like, just sit there in your own loneliness and think that it's the other person's job to call you. But you got to remember, you guys are the leaders. Your friends aren't necessarily leaders. So Sensei Aiden brought up a great point. You're leaders. You're not afraid. So reach out and check on your friends, make sure they're okay. Brooke, did you have something you want to say? Awesome. Go ahead, Brooke.
Sorry, I was muted. Just stay informed about everything so that when people get overworked, it is an issue, but if everyone knows what's going on, we won't have as much exaggeration or people freaking out over it. And if everyone stays calm about it, then it should solve itself a lot faster than if everyone gets panicked.
Absolutely.
So just keeping yourself and other people around you informed.
Absolutely. 2 claps. So guys, in closing, first of all, this was a great example of that. I mean, like I said, you notice that today I just really, really wanted us all to get talking to each other again. And it's great that all the leaders made it. And second of all, I want to make sure that you are, so let me actually ask a question. You can unmute everybody for this, Harley, just so I can know. Is everybody on here? Is everybody here on the KMMA Virtual Dojo?
Yep,
Yeah, I'm in on it.
On the Facebook page? Okay, good.
I'm in.
Good. Because, and by the way, I mean, there's a lot in there. But like, do you guys know that I put a leadership lesson there every morning at 10 a.m.?
Yes, sir.
I've been going
I
live
did not.
every morning. So if you're up and ready with a cup of coffee and you want to, jump on there and go live with me and hear whatever we got to talk
Harley,
about.
can you mute him? I can't hear anything.
Oh, go ahead and mute everybody, Sean Harley. I think Sensei Kyle was saying you guys couldn't hear me before. Is that true? All right. So, well, thank you, Sensei Kyle. What I was saying is that make sure that you get into the Facebook KMMA Virtual Dojo because there's just so much community going on there and everything. Look, by the way, obviously, if you're not, I know at least one of you on here isn't allowed to be on Facebook, and then if you're not, you're not. And just, but we're doing a lot of good stuff on there if you are. And I think maybe my point that is relevant to this discussion is comment. Don't be afraid to speak up. Remember, you're all leaders in the community. So when I put something up, say something about it. When Sensei Sarah or Sensei Kyle or another student puts something up, say something about it. Practice. You know, if you just go and make a comment, if you go right now to all those videos where the people put themselves doing techniques and you make a comment praising them, you're practicing one of the skills I taught you in the instructor training, right? Aren't you supposed to walk the lines as an assistant and give praise? You can practice it virtually now. You can sit there and make comments, right? So take advantage of those kinds of things. And the last thing I will say that is also closely related to what many of you leaders said is that if you need anything, reach out to your community. Your sensei and I are here to serve you, okay? Charlie, you've been very quiet. Anything you want to say?
No, sir.
Are you guys doing okay over there?
Yes, sir.
All right, good. Proud of you all. I appreciate y'all. I'm going to be posting this video on the virtual dojo as well as the one that I did, the last meeting I did with the other leaders. So you guys are going to be famous. So thank you for your contributions. Have a beautiful weekend with your families. And I hope that we see you in your prospective classes next week. All right. Peace and God bless. And thank you guys.